this is Frode and welcome back to Actualize Notes TV. Today we have another great book, The Road to Sparta by Karnazes. The Road to Sparta, subtitle, Reliving the Ancient Battle and Epic Run that Inspired the World's Greatest Foot Race. Karnazes is an incredibly great storyteller, and this is one of the most inspiring books I have ever read. And it's also one of those few books where I get tears in my eyes while reading it. One was when he talked about a story about his grandfather dying from a stroke, because my grandfather died from a stroke at the age of 50. My father just had a stroke at just about the age of 50. And because I'm going to reduce the chances that I'll also have a stroke and die at such an early age, I need to be really committed to eat healthfully. And another story was about the generosity of Greeks. They didn't even have food to feed their own families, but still had the generosity to give food to runners like Dean and others when they were running through their city. And the last one was the sense of duty and purpose that the guy had who ran the road to Sparta. And Karnazes has run through races in all 7 continents. He has run 130 miles in Death Valley in 120 degrees. He has run a marathon to the South Pole in -40 degrees. And, by the way, he has run 50 marathons in all 50 US US states, all in 50 consecutive days. So he's a pretty extraordinary endurance athlete. And I picked this book up because I wanted to expand my sense of what's possible. And we're all running our own ultramarathons in our lives, whether it's building a business, like I'm doing right now, it might be creating a relationship, or raising kids. And if you want to get more enduring in those areas, this is a wise choice. It's also an amazingly inspiring and well-written book. For now, let's look at 5 of my favorite big ideas. Practical ones. The first one is, most of us know the story about marathon, right? From our history class. The one about when the marathon somehow managed to win the war, vastly outnumbered by the Persians. They sent a messenger to Athens, and he ran about 25 miles, who announced victory, we have won the war, before he promptly died on the spot. And that was the great story of endurance. But that's not the entire story, Dean tells us. And through the book, he weaves the story into his own narratives of his own ultramarathon running. And the first marathon wasn't just a run from Marathon to Athens after they won the war. It started out in Athens. And trying to draw columns here and make some kind of drawing of Athens. When the Persians were marching toward Athens, Athens, they figured out that they needed reinforcements, so therefore they sent a messenger, a hemerodromos, day-long runner, that means. And that day-long runner was Phidippides. He had to run the road to Sparta and ask for reinforcements. And why didn't they just send a horse? A man on a horse, you might think. Well, the thing was that there were really rugged terrains and a lot of mountains from Athens to Sparta. So a man could literally outrun a horse on such terrains. Professor Dean talked to actually used the nickname Philippides, which literally means spare the horses, meaning that a trained hemerodromos would be better off running such a distance, so you could spare the wretched creature, the horse, could rest. But then he had to run to Sparta to get reinforcements, and how many miles do you think it was from Athens to Sparta? 35? 50? 100? 125? No, it was 140 plus miles from Athens to Sparta. And you have to just think, that's insane! 140 miles, he ran on foot, over mountains and rugged terrain. And he did all of it within 36 hours. He started on the morning of one day and came in and arrived in Sparta at the end of the next day. There he asked for a reinforcement to the Spartans, and good news were, yes, the Spartans would help. Bad news? Well, it was a full moon ceremony that the Spartans were waiting to have, so they couldn't send reinforcements before another 6 days. But all of the people in Athens might be slaughtered by the Persians by then. So this was quite important information. So Phidippides had a small catnap, some food and some water, before he had to run back those 140 miles. Eek! That's about 300 miles in a couple of days. And then he told them, long story short, they marched to Marathon, won the war, then came the story where they dispatched Phidippides to run from Marathon to Athens, to tell the citizens that we won the war, the Persians are not coming to slaughter you. And then he promptly died. That's at least the story Dean tells us. But what I want to focus on here is that if a guy like Phidippides ran 300 miles in just a few days, that's gotta expand our sense of what's possible, right? In our own endurance races in our lives. What is the #1 endurance race in your life right now? Whether it's a business, relationship, career, fitness, health, anything. And then you might think that it's actually not possible. And how about going to crush it? Set your standards a bit higher and dare to go for it. Second big idea is commitment. Dean says something in the book like, for me it's either 100% fanatical commitment or nothing at all. And in life there are no shades of grey, only black and white. Basically means you're either 100% committed to do something or you're not. And there's a very big difference between 95% commitment, a 99% commitment, and 100% commitment. Because if you have that 99% commitment, you'll to do something, for example eat healthier, or you're going to work out, study, read, whatever, every single day, you always have that little nagging voice that says, will today be the day that I skip it? Will today be the day that I kind of not feel like doing it and I can just relax for today? And then you have that voice again and again and again. But 100%, you're totally committed. You're going to do this no matter what. You're going to meditate for 5 minutes every single morning. You're going to read 10 pages every single day. Or you're going to go for a run for at least 10 minutes each morning. What is this for you? What is it that you are 100% committed to doing every single day in order to reach your most important goals? One of mine is, I meditate every single morning. For 20 minutes, I've done for the last year. Almost every single day. Sometimes I miss it, but then I get quickly back on. So what's your 100% commitment? Next big idea. Prepared. This is really fascinating. Dean reflects on the condition Phidippides might have been in at the time he ran from Athens to Sparta, Sparta to Athens, Athens to Marathon, and then Marathon to Athens. And he might have had a headache, he might have been slacking on his training and not been in quite a good shape as he was, or he might have been nursing an injury. And though we can't know anything of that, we can assume that Phidippides was prepared all the time. He was battle ready, as Navy SEALs used to say. Because he was always ready to perform his duty when there was a need for it. To dispatch messages across Greece when people needed him. And the best way I have of framing this is to look at fundamentals. One of my core heroes, Brian Johnson at Optimize.me, always talks about this. If you want to actualize your potential, you need to be really good at and consistent on your fundamentals. Eat, move, sleep, breathe, and focus. So are you eating right? Are you moving regularly and daily? Are you sleeping enough? Are you breathing deeply and calmly? And are you training your focus through meditation or other mindfulness practices? Those are great ways to be prepared to handle any challenges daily, which gives you greater energy, happiness, and joy. What are your fundamentals? next big idea. Games. When the Olympic Games were created in about 776 BC, the Greeks were... what was most important for the Greeks was participation. So there were two things. First was participation. They wanted universal participation. All of the citizens could join. And they didn't care about winning or being the best all the time. They just wanted people to participate, or sportsmanship. And another thing was, though participation was the most important, what also mattered was individual performance. And they had a great word to frame this. Aristeia. The Greek word aristeia. It's very similar to the word we come back to again and again, arte. Arte means excellence. Aristeia means personal excellence or bestness. And though they are pretty much the same, I like framing it in the direction of aristeia. When your performance in any sport, any kind of area of life, should be measured by your personal excellence, your personal best. What's the best that you can do? Instead of comparing yourself to people who have done something a lot longer than you, and much more. And then feeling ashamed when you're not better than them. So we're going to focus on participation. Did you do it? And performance. What is the best you can do? In his book Deep Work, Cal Newport talks about lead and lag measures. Lead measures are only measured by the things you do. For example, for 10 minutes you will read a book. It's not like for 10 minutes you'll read the entire book, or you'll read 30 pages, or you'll be better than you were. But did you do it or not? And then your lag measures is, are you getting better? And what we want to focus most on, if we don't want to feel anxious every single practice session or for everything we do, is to focus on lead measures. Change takes time. Our adaptability of body and mind takes a lot of time. Kind of like a tree grows over months and years. And therefore we don't want to focus on being better all the time, every single practice session, but instead on showing up and doing those things that will inevitably make us better if you put in the effort. So what is this for you? Are you participating and giving your best performance? And 5. You run 80 miles. Want a cookie? So this is from a story that Dean tells in the book of running the Sparta 153 miles of racing from Athens to Sparta. Kind of a reconstruction of the great run of Phidippides. And he had been running for 80 miles, and then a guy comes driving up at the side of him and asks, "Do you want a cookie?" And he says, "No, I really appreciate it, but I'm following this Greek diet," because he followed the same diet that Phidippides might have eaten. And it was really important for him to stick to that. And the other guy said, "Come on, nobody will know. It's just us here. No other runners are around." And to that, Dean answered, "Yes, I know that, but I would know." And that brings me to one of the best ideas we need to think about for every choice we make. We can always choose the path of virtue, choosing to step forward into growth, a good choice, or vice, doing the worst option that we know is not in accordance with our highest values, what we want to achieve in life, and who we want to be. And when we choose the vice, it's the vice path, the worst option. It's like an open wound in the mind, whichever wounds us and doesn't feel so good after we make the choice. But Dean, he chose to say no to the cookie. And though the driver then started eating it and moaned because of the good how the cookie was, making Dean feel immense internal anguish, Dean could be proud of himself for sticking to his principles and being disciplined. So again, what is it that you know you need to be doing every single day and you're going to stick to all the time, no matter how you feel? Get clear on that and show up and do what you say you will do. Alright, that's you run 80 miles, want a cookie. Games, participate, and perform at your best. That's what matters. Prepared? Are you prepared? Are you eating, moving, sleeping, breathing, and focusing regularly? Commitment? 100%, not 99%. You don't want the whiny little voice. You want 100% commitment. Do it every time. And marathon. 300 miles in a couple of days. Impossible, right? What else is impossible? Set that as a goal, then achieve it. Okay, that's a quick look at The Road to Sparta by Dean Karnazes. I highly enjoyed the book and recommend it to you. Thank you, Dean, for writing the book. I highly enjoyed it. And think about the one idea that jumped out at you, that most resonated with you, that you want to embody in your life. And the one that, if you did it consistently for 5 years, would have the most positive impact on your life. Then think about the first step you can take, and go take that step. Alright, thanks for watching. Have another awesome day. I'm looking forward to sharing more wisdom with you soon. Let's actualize so we can change the world together. See ya.